Hey guys, it's Daytoku here, and I wanted to talk about Kamen episode 8, so let's get started. So in this episode, they get the continuation from last episode where Sukoimi was put to sleep by Monster Wizard, and she is still currently asleep, and Sogo and Geiz are watching over her. So Geiz wants to look for the wizard Rider Watch, and Sogo tries to stop him, but it doesn't really work to the extent that he wanted it to. And when Geiz is going off looking for the wizard Rider Watch, and Beast himself is watching behind them or spying on him from behind. Sogo tries to get some answers on the reason why Hayase would attack his co-worker, and he doesn't really know himself, but when he actually goes to the bathroom, Rose tells him that he is happy that he's acting independently from Geiz, and that he should gain or obtain the wizard Rider Watch, which he declines the offer to obtain it. So, when Beast actually starts looking for Beast, he actually comes across his tent in the woods, and when he's about to go in, he's actually confronted by Beast himself. And initially, he tries to take the Rider Watch forcefully, Geiz, but Beast stops him and just says that he won't give those Rider Watch to Geiz. The only way that he can get them is if Beast can remember how and when did he get the Rider Watch, because that's actually a big deal, because Beast himself also lost his memories like Wizard and like the other riders, which is a bit of a complication. So when they regroup at Sogo's house, they don't really know how to proceed with this, and Sogo actually asks Woz himself rather than Woz giving him just a tip. He actually asks Woz, which is actually pretty cool, and which he is a bit neglected to because Geiz is also there, but he just agrees with it. And they need answers for the reason why riders lose their memories, and the reason for that is that when the time jackers make another rider or a monster rider, the original rider loses his memories and his powers, kind of like how Forze was. And if that monster rider is beaten, time temporarily goes to its original form, but it's a temporary fix for the problem, which is the reason why Emu could remember and transform into Xaid during the Monster Xaid arc. Sogo actually gets an idea of how to proceed, and his plan is that he's trying to play decoy, and Geiz is just in the woods waiting for the time to strike or time to do what he needs to do. So when Monster Wizard appears in the hospital room, he tries to attack the studio manager, the theater manager, but he's stopped by Sogo, who was lying in bed and jump scares or just surprises Monster Wizard, and he transforms into Zeo and proceeds to fight Monster Wizard and brings the fight outside into the floor or the outside hospital. So Sogo actually dons the build armor and uses the Vortex Time Break to beat him. And the reason for this is that after this initial scene, Beast gets his memory back when Monster Wizard was defeated. And after this, he transforms and proceeds to fight Geiz, who transforms himself and starts fighting. And between the fight, he stops and proceeds to give him the Rider Watches. So the reason for this match was actually to know if Geiz was the right person to give this to, and he was, and well, he owns it now. So when Sogo is fighting Monster Wizard again, he dons the Forze armor and tries to fight Monster Wizard. During the fight, Sogo tries to give sense into Monster Wizard by telling him that he was trying to hurt the girl that he was trying to protect and loved. And this causes him to think about the reason why he did it, and deactivates the transformation, but immediately enrages and just uses a big water spell against Sogo. During the fight with Monster Wizard in the past in 2011 with Geiz, when he dons the wizard armor, and it's really cool in that the armor doesn't appear, but a seal comes down right into his chest section, and the armor appears when the seal appears, or when the seal disappears, which is a cool nod to Wizard. And I like when it transforms that the seal itself just becomes like a cape for Geiz, which is cool. And I think this is a more simpler design for Rider armor, which is cool. So during the fight, it's kind of awesome in that he actually does a big attack with the Wizard Rider Watch with a time axe, and that it grows to a big size, which is so cool. And I like how he ends the fight in this section, and that he uses a big kind of rider kick, and that he appears, just floats up, and when he does the rider kick, a foot extends from the seal when he kicks into the seal, a giant foot just comes crashing down on Monster Wizard, deactivating his transformation, which is such a cool little rider kick for Wizard. So during both fights, both Hayases, both 2012 and 2018, start to talk via the Five's phone, which is cool in that they can speak through time, and Woz actually has one. So when they start talking to one another, future Monster Wizard tells the past that he should have the courage and have the guts to tell the theater manager how he feels about her and stop being a wimp, because that would probably be his regret. And after he does, there's such a really cool scene that displays the time aspect. And after that initial scene, I like how they ended the episode with the tease for the next episode. So the next episode is supposed to be O's, and they didn't tease AJ, they teased Dan Coroto, which is odd, but I like how he is shown with his madness again with the dangerous zombie gas shot, which is a cool little teaser for next episode. So I think that's all I got to talk about. So I think